All right, is everybody ready to get started? Yeah, all right. Tom, thanks. Mike. All right, yeah, just give me a thumbs up or a yes. Perfect. Well, let's get going. My name is Kyle Goeman, and I just want to thank Mike for letting me speak to you guys today. I'm going to go over a quick little concept that I have dealt with in life, and that is disability insurance. So, my question is, are you in your prime working years? Well, most of you guys are, and you have this question, and a lot like myself, you're probably in need to guarantee your income, but you probably think you can't afford the insurance. And you know what? As an insurance agent, I have often thought about that myself. And this was my solution that I'm going to show with you a short example I'm going to show you here quickly. Does that sound fair to you guys? Perfect. Well, what I usually like to go through is I usually explain to people that first of all, you have work comp through your employer. So if you get hurt, usually it'll be covered there. Now, some of you guys are self-employed, so work comp will not work for you. But for you guys that are employed under your employer, you have workers' compensation. So if you get hurt on the job, that's usually where you're going to turn for your disability coverage. The second thing is Social Security disability, and I'll show you an example here of a couple that I've worked with about how their Social Security benefits kicked in to cover the disability. And the third option is buying what I call named disability insurance. And the reason I call it named disability is there's a lot of policies. AFLAC is one of them. Direct Benefits Group sells another one where it's non-occupation. And the easiest way to explain that is if you're a carpenter, for example, and you get hurt on the job and it's not your named occupation, the insurance company will turn around and say, well, you know what, you broke your leg and you can't do carpentry the rest of your life, but can you go work at a lumberyard and give advice and help around a lumberyard? Well, at that point, you're not going to get the disability coverage because it's not named in your occupation. And that's one thing I do not care for about disability insurance. I like to have the freedom to do whatever I want to do and not be told why my disability is covered or not covered. The second thing I do not care for about disability is, let's say you make $100,000. They do not insure you to $100,000. They insure you to 50, 60, 70%, whatever you want to buy. And I see most people, what they do on a traditional disability policy, they buy 50 to 60% coverage, which can kind of leave them short depending on their occupation. So the alternative that I usually demonstrate to people that I'm going to draw out here for you guys is, let me see here, is a policy that I kind of illustrate as it's a dividend paying life insurance policy with a disability benefit. So this is a couple, husband and wife, but this is the husband, age, they're 52. So I'm going to try to draw this on here for you. He is 52 years old and he purchased $425,401 up front. And with the riders and everything that are on this policy, it's $443,000 of life insurance. Excuse me. Now, he's paying $10,000 a year for that. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying, $10,000, I'm out, not going to do this. Well, the interesting thing about this concept that I like, that I've done for myself, is that $10,000, this is a savings account. So every year he puts in $10,000 and it grows by 3 to 5%. So they put $10,000 in, they can get at that $10,000 whenever they want, and it's growing at a decent interest rate. This is not an investment. It's a savings account, but it gives us the benefit of life insurance, and it gives us the benefit of chronic illness coverage, terminal illness coverage. So if you have cancer, and it pays 3% disability. So for this guy, $443,000, 3%, I believe it's about $13,000 of disability coverage. So he'll get about $1,100 a month for disability, no questions asked. All he needs is a doctor to say, yep, he's got a disability. Done. He gets the coverage. Now, the next thing that I like about this is there's 3 situations: live, die, quit. If this guy lives too long, he can use the money as retirement funds. It still has the death benefit, and it goes on and on. And I'm going to give you a term called paid up. So he pays this policy until he is age 60. Whoops, excuse me. Until he is age 60, and then he never pays anything again. So it's paid up. That by that time, the policy grows to about $478,000, and it just keeps growing because of the interest rate. So if he lives, he still has the death benefit plus all the savings. If he dies, the death benefit kicks in. If he quits, he can take the cash that they put in that grows at that 3 to 5%. The reason it's 3 to 5% is because it depends on your health history. If you're preferred, standard, if you smoke, you're going to get rated non-preferred, and that's what determines our interest rate. So that's just an example of how that little policy works. But the next thing is, for this guy, he has an average income, but right here, the disability portion on his Social Security. You can see if he becomes disabled, he's first of all going to get $2,067 a month from Social Security, and he's going to get that $1,100 from the life insurance policy with the disability rider put right onto it. So, I mean, he's going to get $3,167. So for the whole year, he's going to end up with about $38,000 in supplemental income at that point. And that's the same thing with the traditional disability policy. They're only going to pay about 50 to 60% of your income anyways. So if you're making $70,000, $80,000, this would be right on par with a disability policy. Now, this guy is 52, and this plan is going to work better for you guys that are in your 30s, for you guys that are coming close to your 50s. It's not as attractive, but this is an illustration of a 52-year-old in standard health, not preferred health. So it depends on your age too. So I'm just going to illustrate with you guys, if you're parents, if you have a family and you want to secure your livelihood, you need to understand that you don't know what tomorrow holds. I've had people that have literally sat across my desk and have thought about this policy. I've had people that said, go ahead, let's get it in place. And it usually takes about a week to do the paperwork and to get the illustration back. And I had a couple that did that. And I had them in. I said, all right, I need a check. And they said, okay, we got to move some money around and then we'll come back with a check. And 2 days later, the guy had a farming incident that happened that was not covered by work comp because he's self-employed. And they did not have the coverage in place. And it's a sad story, but I've seen it happen, and I just want to reiterate that for most of you. So, you know, people that actually take action are the ones that get ahead. I've ran into many people that just plan, and you can plan all you want, but it's not until you take some action that actually gets that started. So to get this coverage started, in less than a week, like I said, you just have to, you know, get us your name, date of birth, and some health history, and we can, you know, illustrate this for you. We can also show you the traditional disability as well, but this is one of the best options. So what you can do is, this is a short presentation, and I thank you guys for listening. I am going to have a form on the bottom of this that you can just shoot me an email with some of your information, and we'll get back to you within about 24 hours with some questions and answers, and just feel free to reach out to us. So the best way is to enter your email below and just tell us that you're interested. Raise your hand and say, yeah, I'd like to see what I can do. So hopefully this has been more than helpful for you guys, and I will follow up with you shortly. Thanks for attending, and thanks for listening to this little illustration.